Don't you just love it when the astrology is sort of textbook perfect? I've just spent half an hour recording this week's podcast only to find that my microphone was switched off and no sound was recorded, which actually goes extremely well with the astrology for this week, which is Mercury, the planet of communications, clashing with Jupiter and Chiron. Never mind, I have a solution. What I've decided to do is to give you lesson 3 of my recent Moonology Calling Masterclass, which is all about how to step into a career which is more spiritually aligned. So if you would like to do more spiritually aligned work, I think you're going to love it. It's for people who hate their job and want to change, or it's for people who love their job but would like to earn a little bit more money on the side, doing something more spiritually aligned. And it's also for people who are doing things like being a healer, working as a spiritual guide, a spiritual teacher, maybe a Reiki master, and so on, who'd like to add a new string to their bow and a new source of income. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a brilliant week, and I'll be back next week with a full audio included podcast. Anyway, welcome to module 3, I should say, of the Moonology Calling Masterclass. I know that tons of you have done this and tons of you have really enjoyed it, which I'm so pleased about. And I just wanted to start off, before we really get going, I want to start off with a quick chakra clearing chant and just a dedication of this to the divine. And then I'm going to get you to do a little pledge with me, a little intention setting pledge. So I'm just going to chant the chakra clearing chant once, just to clear our chakras. And then we'll do our little pledge, and then we will hop in, because we do have lots to get through. I've got another sort of bunch of information to give you guys. All right, so here we go. Hari Om Nam Lam Lam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ha Shiva Ram Swaha. And we dedicate this module and the whole class to the divine. Thank you for helping people to get the insights they need. Thank you for letting me help as many people as possible. I set the intention that as many people as I can help will get this masterclass. So, hand on your heart. I am 100% willing, say it after me, I am 100% willing to get everything I can out of this masterclass. I'll just do it again. I am 100% willing to get everything I can out of this masterclass. So be it. All right, let us proceed. Okay, so as I was writing one of the emails to send out to you guys about this masterclass, I realized that in a way, for me at least, what I'm teaching you, the $1 million question of this free masterclass is, I want to change my working life for something more spiritually aligned. How do I do that? So I hope you agree with me. That is what we are here to do, because that is what I am here to teach. So I'm not going to recap again, because I sort of taught you a bit of stuff in lesson 1, module 1. I keep calling it module 1. And then in module 2, I recapped that, and then we added some more information in there about Jupiter and Saturn and the angels. So I hope you're feeling adequately recapped, because what I wanted to move on to today were 3 new things, okay? And as we go, we will be looking at these 3 topics we're going to be looking at 3 people's charts that I have cast in advance, and that's from you guys who have very kindly submitted your charts. And we also have some prizes that I'm going to give away. And then I'm going to make you an offer. So let us begin. So we've talked about the daily moon and we've talked about the new moon. Okay, so the daily moon is the moon going around the chart over the course of 1 month, okay? And then, as you know now, the sun goes round the zodiac in a year and the moon goes round in a month. So once a month, once a month, it meets the sun, and that's when we get the new moon. But then what happens is the moon keeps going and it ends up on the opposite side of the zodiac, okay? So you may know that all the signs are kind of paired in opposites. So it goes Aries, Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, Gemini, Sagittarius, Cancer or Moonchild and Capricorn, Leo and Aquarius, Virgo and Pisces, okay? So when we get the full moon, the sun is in one sign and the moon is in the opposite one. So, for example, when we get the full moon in Libra, I told you Aries and Libra are opposites. So we have the sun in Aries and the moon in Libra. Or when we get the full moon in Aries, say, then the sun's in Libra and the moon is in Aries. Or when we get the full moon in Leo, then the sun is in Aquarius and the moon is in the opposite sign of Leo. So that's how we get a full moon. Now, one thing that I am very fond of trying to explain to people is that when we come to Moonology, and especially when we come to manifesting with Moonology, people tend to get rather excited about the new moon wishing, okay? They're like, oh, you know, getting out there, getting clarity about what I want, and dreaming my dreams, holding the vision, believing it's possible, doing the visualizations, doing the affirmations, all that kind of stuff that I teach in Moonology. However, less excited perhaps sometimes about the full moon. Why? Because for the simple reason, hang on, let me just fix something up here. For the simple reason that, you know, who doesn't like imagining what it is that they're trying to bring into their life? You know, like, of course, we love imagining ourselves taking that trip to Paris or, you know, having that moonlight stroll along the beach with our perfect partner or, you know, getting the job of our dreams in, you know, whatever that may be, or living in a tiny cabin in the woods, whatever. Of course, we love doing that. So one thing I have come to realize after many years, and especially thanks to my travels in India, is that the full moon is actually what I've called here the secret source of success. Now, why is that so? It's because the full moon is the time to surrender everything, okay? So I think in module 1, we talked about all the things you can wish for. I gave you a PDF about all the things to wish for under the different moons. So, you know, with the new moon in Aries, you might wish to be to be braver, or the new moon in Cancer, you might make wishes for your family or whatever. With the full moon, even though you can do that, you can work on a particular part of your chart, and I am going to tell you about how to do that. You almost don't have to, because the really important thing to do at the full moon, and what you could call the secret source of success, is to just let it all go to the universe. And so when I went to India for the very first time in 2005, I was supposed to stay there for 5 days. I ended up staying there for 5 weeks. For about the first 4.5 weeks, I was sitting there with my arms crossed thinking, what is this? This is really weird. What is this teacher? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then all of a sudden, after about 4 weeks there, I suddenly went, oh, I get it. It was quite a big moment for me. I suddenly realized that the place where I was the real deal. and my teacher was the real deal. And it was just a moment that I had. And what actually happened was my teacher was crossing the courtyard of the temple and looked me straight in the eye. And just in that moment, I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, I surrender to the divine. I surrender to the divine mother. I surrender to the divine beloved. And I actually sort of lowered myself a little bit down to the floor to sort of as an act of surrender to the divine. And that was when my whole life began to change in incredible ways. And it's one of the reasons why, on some spiritual, energetic level, I feel really confident in telling you that it's really the secret source of achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. You could almost say that when we make our new moon wishes, we're kind of wishing from ego, or we're wishing from our head. We're wishing from logic. This is what I want, this is what I want. And in a way, it has a gimme, but that's okay, because we're here on planet Earth. I believe we incarnate here on planet Earth to learn about manifesting. I believe the Earth is a school of manifestation, and we're here to learn about how to have a good experience in this physical body. But the full moon is the time to release it all to the divine. And there is some kind of magic in releasing it all to the divine. And I remember I was very, very single at the time when I went to India. And I had spoken to someone in Australia who said, Yasmin, just, surrender to the fact that you're going to be single forever. And I was like, and she said, look, I know plenty of people who've done that. And as soon as they do it, they fall in love. And I'm like, okay, thinking I'm not going to do it. But then when I went to India, I realized, you know what, I can surrender everything to the divine, not just being married or single or rich or poor or whatever. I can just surrender all of it, because at the end of the day, I trust the divine to have the best plan for me. So if this is the plan, and at the time I was just learning about Moonology, and I knew that I could help lots of people. And I thought, well, maybe my path is to just, be a Moonology teacher and just teach that. And that's going to be amazing. And so I surrendered it all. And then, of course, after that 5 weeks in India, I flew to Paris, got off the plane, and basically set in motion the events that led to me meeting the man who became my husband and the father of our beautiful son, Louis. So I really want to emphasize to you that even though it's really wonderful to do the new moon wishes, it's the surrender that we do at the full moon that really, really changes things. And here's another thing to just mention as well. When it's the full moon, it's a really good time to do forgiveness work, okay? Now, I know that some people go through very, very difficult things, and it can feel almost impossible to forgive someone. No one can blame you if you've been really wronged. No one can blame you if you find it hard to just say, you know what, I forgive you. But there are just a couple of ways to mitigate this, and I'll tell you why it's an important thing to do. I think the best thing that you can do, if you can get your head around it, is to think, you know what, that's all they were capable of. That's who they are this lifetime. That they're playing the cards they were dealt with, the personality they were born with this lifetime. They could have tried harder, they didn't. And just let it go. And another thing you can do is, if that's a bit too condescending for you, because it is a kind of a condescending attitude, but you can also say, okay, well, apparently we had a soul agreement before I incarnated, or before we incarnated here this lifetime, and we agreed that they would do this thing to me. And obviously I had lessons to learn, okay? And that can make it easier to forgive as well. And so what I do in Moonology, and especially in my full moon ceremonies, is I try to give people a moment when they can forgive. So because we're here for the Moonology Masterclass, all about having a job that's more spiritually aligned, one of the really important things to do is if you're one of the people who's had a rough time at work, and that's one of the reasons why you hate your job, or maybe you feel your boss is toxic, or your colleagues are toxic, or you're just feeling frustrated because you're not getting where you want to go professionally, offer it up to the divine. Just let it all go. Let go of the anger, upset, resentment, failures, disappointments, anything. At the full moon, just let it all go. And it's much easier to let it go at the full moon for the simple reason that as the moon swells, the moon in astrology is about emotions. So as the moon swells, so do our emotions. And so by the time we get to the full moon, once the moon's, then we are all really going to feel all our feelings. And so once we are feeling our feelings, it's actually easier to process them. And I'll just say one more thing. In terms of manifesting stuff that you want to manifest, the clearer you are energetically, the more of a powerful manifester you are going to be. So I'm just putting my something right. Oops, I'm just throwing everything everywhere. The more of a powerful manifester you're going to be, okay? Now, why is this so, as Professor Julius Sumner Miller used to say in Australia in the, I don't know, dark ages? Why is this so? Because we get back what we put out, okay? So if we are walking around angry at our job, we hate our job, we just complain about our job all the time, or we hate our boss, or we hate our colleagues, or we hate what we do, all we're going to get back is more yuck, okay? So forgive once a month, release once a month, let it go, because your energy will be better. And that is what you can do for yourself in terms of finding work you love, okay? So I hope that makes sense. I can see some hearts coming on the screen, which is always very reassuring. Please feel free to heart anything you feel like, that's so beautiful. Oh, thank you guys. So, okay, so I think that's all making sense to you. All right, so what I wanted to do, I told you I'm going to look at a few people's charts tonight. I wanted to look at the very first chart that we're going to look at. And this is, in fact, it is you, Kimberly. Kimberly and I were talking before. So Kimberly has her chart here. So now we were talking and I was saying everything that Kimberly was saying sounds very much to me like she's got her either 10th house or her MC in the sign of Virgo. Let me just put my little pen on here. Here we go. And you can see she is really close to Virgo with her MC, which is her career line. Look at that. It's 27 out of 30 degrees, okay? And we can see here that she's got 8 p.m. as her birth time. I would be willing to bet, Kimberly, having spoken to you for 5 minutes about what you do for work, I would bet practically my bottom dollar, maybe not quite my bottom dollar, that your mum has said 8 p.m. as a rough guess, and it's probably 20 minutes into switching over into Virgo. Okay, so that's just a little bit of an unsettling thought for you, but just so you know, it might be worth playing with it and having a look. But what I really wanted to show, so let's just quickly recap so we know people are getting this stuff. There's her sun in Taurus in the 7th house, okay? There's her rising sign in Scorpio. Now, this will change if your birth time changes, but that's okay. That's what you're here to do, here to learn. And let's just find your moon as well while we're at it, okay? So look at that. She's got her moon in Aries. Now, these placements don't change if your birth time changes, and it's right near Chiron, which is nice. So I would think as well you have definitely got good astrology energy for being a healer, if that's something that would ever appeal to you. Okay, so really what I wanted to show you, though, was to use Kimberly's chart to show you how the full moon works, okay? So here we have, and I'll swap from the pen to the laser pointer. Here we have on the inside, you can see Kimberly's chart. There's her sun, there's her moon, there's her Scorpio rising, okay? There's
Yasmin, we can't see your screen.
What?
You can't see your screen. I don't know whether I'm the only person, but
I can see it. I can see it.
Oh my
Okay.
God, thank God for that.
Okay.
Oh dear, somebody.
It must be me. No, it's all right. It must be me. We just have a fiddle.
There are two windows available.
I can see it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, phew.
What's your view to speaker view?
Thanks, guys. All the Zoom experts speak up. Shall I keep going?
Yes, please.
Yeah, keep going, but
Can you see it now?
no, I'm on speaker view, but I can't see you. I've still got your screensaver with the I want to change my working life.
That's so strange. Well, I reckon
It's
that's
very strange because you were fine last night and the night before, but I don't know what it is. Never mind. Carry on.
It's weird you could see the first one, but I've gone at least 2 or 3 since then.
Yeah. Don't worry.
All right,
Carry
let's
on,
go
Yasmin.
with
It's
Captiva.
fine.
But okay, but there won't be that
I'll
much
imagine.
thing to look at anyway, okay? It's just every now and then. So like when I'm doing the charts, basically, the rest is just spoken. So yeah, what we've got around the outside of the chart is where the planets will be, and you can see there it says the 6th of October 2025, which is when we're going to have the next full moon. And I told you the full moon takes place when the sun and the moon are on opposite sides of the zodiac. And so here we have the sun as it moves around, okay? The moon was here when we had the new moon in Libra. And then here we're going to have the full moon in Aries. So we're going to get the new moon in Libra. I think I'm actually going to show that. I think it's September. We just had it. I'm a bit confused. Anyway, I'm not going to try a date, but basically when they're on opposite sides of the zodiac, that is when we get the full moon. So now, in this case with Kimberly, okay, Kimberly S here, we can see that assuming her birth time is correct, you may need to rejig it, Kimberly. I'm not joking. I think you sound like you've got at least Virgo on your MC, if not your 10th house. But to say this is right, just as an example, then her full moon will be in her 7th house, because there's the sun. In her 6th house. And there's the moon. Okay, they're on opposite sides of the zodiac. It's the full moon. And that's her 6th house. So it is a way, one thing you can do is go, okay, so I need to find a balance between my spiritual side, which is the 12th house, and all the things that I have to do to get myself through the day, the 6th house. Remember, the 6th house is daily work and health. So it's like there's a tug of war going on between her need to be zen, right? It's actually really funny, Kimberly, because remember you said you don't like showing yourself too much. And I said, if you got sun in the 12th house, you actually do have sun in the 12th house. There you go. So basically the full moon is the time for balance. And in this case, it would be balance versus between the daily life of going out in the world and doing stuff and her need to be at home. I'm sorry, Kimberly, you don't have sun in the 12th house. So just ignore me. That was a mistake. I'm looking at the sun in the 12th house at the time of the full moon. But all that said, I want to bring you, so, and then you can look, then the sun will keep moving. And so then we're going to have the sun will move into your 1st house. So the sun will be there, and then the moon will keep moving, and eventually it will go into your 7th house. And so when we get the full moon in Taurus, it's going to be in your 7th house. When it goes into Gemini, it'll be in your 8th house, it will be in your 9th house, and so on. So you can work with that and go, okay, it's in my love zone. I'm going to let go of all my relationship rubbish. Oh, it's in my 8th house, which is my sex and money zone. I'm going to let go of all my sex and money rubbish. It's in my 9th house of travel, adventure, study. I'm going to let go of any narrow-mindedness, because this is like the house of perspective. Oh, and what do we get? The 10th house. We all know that one now. It's the career and ambitions. I'm going to find a balance between the 4th house, which is home and family, and my career. So that's really like a really good time to be very mindful about your work-life balance, for example, when you get the 4th and the 10th. But all that said, I really want to go back to what I said at the start of talking about the full moon, which is you can work through all the signs the same way as we work with the new moon through all the signs through the new moon. But for my money, the full moon is just let it all go time. It's just release. And I don't even worry too much about which house it's in, unless I'm going through a rough time and I want to go, okay, well, where's the full moon this month? Where am I likely to be feeling a bit of energetic turmoil or turbulence? What do I need to release? What's being triggered? But if life is on a relatively even keel, for me, it just comes back to, you know what? I'm just letting it all go to the divine. What did I wish for at the new moon? I'm letting it all go to the divine. So I hope that makes sense. Please give me a thumbs up if that's making any sense whatsoever. Pretty pleased with cherries on top. Kimberly says yes. Oh, that's good. Oh, good. Lots. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. All right. So really what I wanted to do was just, really touch on the idea of the full moon, because it's worth you knowing. But really what I'm going to suggest to you, since you are here because you want to change your working life or you want to do something more spiritually aligned, tune into the full moon as a way just to release it all to the divine, okay? And just say, you know what, divine? This is for you to deal with now. This is for you to handle now. Or, I've really tried, couldn't make it work. I surrender it to you. Or if things have worked out, this is the time to offer it up to the divine with gratitude and say, thank you so much. And remember as well, for those of you who like to work with goddesses, the full moon is like peak goddess time. So very much a very good time to work with goddesses. And just like we did the angels the other night, and you can work with the angels. You might go, oh, well, it's the full moon in, what's going to be Aries. So it's the Archangel Ariel to call in, or if it's a goddess, the goddess for the Aries full moon is Athena, for example. So you can work with it like that as well, but really just let it all go, offer it up, release it, forgive, forget if you can, or maybe don't forget if you think you shouldn't forget, because sometimes you need to sort of be a little bit careful. You forgive, but you don't forget because you don't want to get walked on like a doormat. But move on. So let me just look in the comments. Can anybody think of anything that they need to release, let go, forgive, move on from, but to do with work, okay? To do with work, because we're talking about work. Is there anyone who's had a tough time at work and they know that if they could just start to release that, they would probably start to have a better working life? Let me see. Let's have a look. Okay, there we go. Overdoing, overgiving, lack of competence, a boss who micromanages, forgive my boss when he throws temper tantrums. Okay, brilliant. So you're all getting it. So next full moon, I want you to work on that, okay? And if you want to work on the fact that it's in Aries, it's so much the better. And if you want to work on the fact that it's, in one house or another house, even better. But also do the release, because that's what clears us out energetically. And then we start to vibrate at a higher level, okay? And so then we start to be able to better attract the things that we want to attract. Okay, because when we are manifesting, we will always attract what we're putting out. So if we've got, a boss who micromanages us, or we've been in trouble because we weren't competent enough about something, we've had what do they say? Strips torn off us, then that's the time to just put it in the fire and just go, you know what? I surrender. Om Namo Narayani, Om Namo Narayani, Om Namo Narayani means I surrender it to the divine. All right, so that was just another thing I wanted to give you, because it's really important to do this work, and I would say on a monthly basis, okay? So I told you there would be prizes tonight, and I am about to give away the first prize. Before I tell you who's won it, because I've picked everyone's names out, I just want to show you, I'm giving away a copy of my Moonology Diary 2026 to one lucky attendee, and it is, I don't know if she's here, Angela Camos. Angela Camos. So, Angela, I'm going to ask you to write to support@yasminboland.com and let us know your address, and we will send you a copy of the Moonology Diary 2026. And for those of you who don't know what the diary is, it's basically got all the information about all the new moons and the full moons and the quarter moons and the dark moons, places to write your forgiveness lists and your new moon wishes and so on and so forth. And it sells out every year. And Angela, if you've already got a copy, then hopefully give it to a friend, turn them on to Moonology. And if you haven't, yay, and I will sign it for you and pop it in the post. So there we go. All right. Okay. So now I wanted to talk about the next thing. So we've talked about the daily moon. We've talked about the new moon. We've talked about the full moon. And now we're going to talk about the dark moon, which is one of my favorite subjects. The ancients feared the dark moon as a time of chaos. Why? Because all of a sudden they couldn't see the moon and they all freaked out. Now we know it's not a problem. It's actually an amazing, amazing time. It's the last sacred pause before the moon, the new moon, is reborn. So basically what happens is we get the new moon. 2 weeks later, the sun's ticking along and then the moon goes and we've got the opposite signs. We get the full moon and then the moon keeps moving and eventually catches up. Just before it catches up to the sun again for the next new moon, we get the dark moon. And that is when the moon disappears. And again, I wanted to talk about this dark moon in the context of the Moonology Calling Masterclass because, I want to stay on topic here, which is finding work that is spiritually aligned. So I've just spoken at some length about the full moon and about the importance of letting it all go. And then after the full moon, we move. So the new moon is waxing cycle from new moon to full moon. It's the time to go for it. As soon as we've had the full moon, that's when we move into the waning cycle, when the moon's getting smaller every night. And it's a time to just let stuff go. In the words of, I don't know if you know Rebecca Campbell. I got told off the other day for talking about my friends who are famous. In Hay House world, Beck Campbell's very famous. I'm sorry, but I've got to know her as a part of being a Hay House author. I'm not trying to name drop or anything. Somebody accused me of name dropping because I mentioned her and I think Kyle Gray or something. Who's another friend of mine, amazing guy. So in the words of Beck Campbell, Beck in her book, Light is the New Black, she talked a lot about what is rising up in you and what is falling away. And I just can't think of a better way to express the waxing and the waning cycle. The waxing cycle from new moon to full moon, which is when to go after your goals and dreams and chase them all. That's what is rising up in you, okay? And then we get the full moon, which I just talked about, and that's what is falling away in the waning cycle. And we start to let it all go. And it's a time to kind of make peace with whatever's happened, seek out people to share any wisdom that you've gained, especially as we move through the disseminating moon. And then the last quarter moon, it's really a time to just make peace with what is. And then we move to the last crescent moon, also known as the balsamic moon, which means healing and soothing. And that's about where we find the dark moon. So if you see me doing my dark moon ceremonies every month on Facebook, it's not actually astrology per se. When I learned astrology, I told you I learned from very strict teachers who made me be absolutely to the letter We talked about that I ranted on about this a bit too much actually in the Q&A last night about how, it's a lot of astrology isn't just, oh, I just feel it's like this. It's like, no, there are rules, but there is the intuition. I talked about that last night. Look at the Q&A if you want to hear my big long talk about that. I did go on. This is not astrology. The dark moon is not astrology per se, although, again, just to one more digression, a girlfriend of mine who is an astrologer said, well, Yasmin, is it astrology? You're an astrologer. You're talking about it. Maybe it is astrology now. It's sort of more the domain of witches, okay, which I don't identify as a witch, but that's fine. But it's just before the new moon. So it's when the moon suddenly disappears. And in ancient times, they didn't know why the moon disappeared. They thought of it as the death of the moon. And actually, the patriarchy, Kelsapries, demonized the whole thing and said it's, a bad time, it's a dark time, you can't see the moon, it's the bad energies are around and so on and so forth. But that's sort of like they demonized everything. They demonized women, they demonized sex, they just demonized whatever they didn't understand. It's an amazing, amazing time. And it's like the other chance that we get to just let it all go. And the image that I always use every month when I do my dark moon ceremonies is think of a vine of grapes, grapes that are going to be made into wine, okay? They grow, the new moon, they probably planted in the waxing cycle, what is rising up, they're growing, you get this bountiful harvest, the beautiful bunches of grapes at the full moon. They're in all their glory. They get picked, and all that's left are the leaves and the vines that the grapes were attached to. And then we move into autumn and winter, and then they all dry out and get sort of dusty and wither on the vine, and eventually they all dry out and you can just crumble them in your hand. So the new moon is kind of I guess it would be spring, and then the second half of the waxing cycle would be summer, and then the full moon, and then autumn as things start to fall away, and then winter as it all gets very dark and cold, and we get those leaves just shriveled up. Here in England, we really feel the four seasons, probably one of the reasons why there's this strong attachment to the seasons with all the Celtic origins and stuff. So the dark moon is when it's all shriveled away before spring comes back. Let's put it like that. And it's another chance in the cycle to let stuff go, okay? I can't emphasize enough to you how important it is to let stuff go. So it's the last sacred chance to pause before the moon, because the moon's disappeared, before it's reborn in the shape of the crescent sliver, okay? Final chance to release and reset. Clear the slate so the new moon can write a new story, okay? Because what do we do at the new moon? We get clarity on what we want, and we do our intentions. We make our wishes. We make our commitments to ourselves. We basically send our desires out into the universe. So the dark moon is not something you'll find in the astrology books. It's something I would highly recommend you start to pay attention to as you start to learn to live with the moon. And when it comes to the idea of the job, it's going to be a case of, you know what, you all just had tons of stuff you need to let go professionally. It's like the second chance of the month. There's the full moon, let it go. It's a bit more of an emotional time, make peace. And then this is like the final clearing out, okay, before the new moon, before we start to set intentions. So again, I wanted to show you a chart. So Valerie, this is your chart. So Valerie is Gemini rising, Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Leo, and Pisces on the 10th house. So that's your chart. So what I wanted to do Valerie, was to use your chart to show about the next dark moon. So just before the new moon, so the next new moon is going to be here. You can see the moon has caught back up to the sun. So remember, the moon was over here. The moon was over here. I hope you don't mind my rather ugly squiggles, but it seems to kind of work. The moon kept going and eventually catches up to the sun, and then we will get the new moon in Libra, and that is going to be on that's where I got 21 in my head. The 21st of October, we're going to get the new moon in Libra. Now, the dark moon is just before the new moon, okay? So, in fact, as before the new moon, work with the dark moon. So, Valerie, in your case, it's the 5th house. So, it's to do with romance, creativity, and children, your own or someone else's. It's to do with risks, it's to do with having fun, and it's to do with your hobbies. Okay, so when the dark moon comes along in your 5th house, just ahead of the new moon, use it to let go of any of that stuff that just needs to crumble. You know, maybe there's been an upset in your creative life. Maybe something didn't work out. And guess what? The new moon is going to, in the same house, in your 5th house, which is romance, creativity, and children. You're about to get that boost, but just take the chance to just clear out before you get that new moon boost. Does that make sense? Please give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. Let me see. Okay, good. Oh, good. Lots and lots of thumbs. Yeah. So basically the dark moon, last chance to let it all go. And then the next day we get the new moon, which is the time to start all over again. Okay. And so, you know, for example, keeping it within the context of the masterclass, it would be, how can I be more creative? How am I having enough fun in my life, or is my job stopping me? Do I need to release this job? You know, find something else first, but do I need to change my job because I'm just not having a good time? Because the 5th house is the house of fun, you know, so just let it all go before then the new moon comes along. It's like, right, now I'm going to set some intentions to do with having more fun, you know, while I look for work that I love. I'm just going to have a little, okay, Quintella said, this is so helpful because I never knew how to time the dark moon. That's brilliant. Nothing bad will happen if you don't track it. That's right. Planting seeds of new growth in the fertile soil that is the new moon. Exactly. And so just to that, Dawn K, planting seeds of growth in the fertile soil that is the new moon. Yeah, I love that. So one analogy I like to use is, you know, when you plant a seed, what do? You get the seed, you make a little hole in the ground, you plop the seed in there, then you cover it up and you wait till it germinates, don't you? That's what we do with the new moon, because when it's the new moon, we cannot see the moon, okay? So it's the dark moon, that's the new moon, put it in there, cover it up, can't see the moon, and then as we move into the waxing cycle, what is rising up will be your dreams that you've planted. Okay, void of course moon is, such a big subject. I'm not even going to go there, but it's a huge subject. But when the moon is void, of course, it's said that whatever you do will bear no fruit. But which definition are you going to use for void of course? There are so many. I've actually been converted to the one that's the hermetic interpretation, which means the moon's only void of course a couple of times a year. I had a big talk with someone called Chris Brennan, who I think is probably, after Robert Hand, he's probably the leading astrologer on the planet right now, and he's all into I think is it Hermetic astrology? Or maybe Hellenistic. I don't even remember, but I remember he convinced me to use the old method. All right, so the dark moon could be the hole you're making for the seed. Yes, the dark moon. Well, actually, no. The dark moon would be like clearing away the weeds. The dark moon is clearing away the weeds, tilling the soil a bit, getting rid of all the rubbish, and then the new moon is stick your finger in it, plop the seed in, cover it up, and then the first crescent, when we get that little sliver, that is the, thank you, Hellenistic. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, I should know that, but he's the expert on that. I'm very much a modern astrologer, as I'm sure I'm sure that you can tell. Yes, actually, Christy Ingram is saying, I watched that episode about the void of course moon. Yeah. So go and watch it. It's very interesting. I won't talk about it too much, but just what was actually quite interesting is that, so Chris is a Hellenistic astrologer, which is different to Hermetic astrologer, excuse me. He's a Hellenistic astrologer, and he's very, very much immersed in ancient astrology. And I'm very much a modern astrologer. So I've studied all the modern stuff. And very few astrologers can study everything. I would say Robert Hand is probably one of the few who really seems to have got a handle on everything. But it was quite funny because we ended up almost arguing opposite. So I was actually arguing for using the ancient interpretation for the void of course moon, and he was a bit like, really, I'm not sure, do we want to let go of the modern one? So it's quite a good episode to watch of the Chris Brennan podcast. Shelley says, when is the dark moon deck releasing? In February. I'm going to show it to my members. If you're in my mainly Moonology membership, you're going to see it at my next our next meetup. All right, okay, so now let's look. So Becky's saying, can you show us on the chart whereabouts the dark moon phase is? Yes, that's exactly what I meant to do, actually. So this is where it is. So what's actually going to happen, you can see, actually, look, I think I can, look at that, the power of technology. So you can see here, we've got the moon at 26, it goes out when I get the thing on, but 26 degrees of Libra, and the sun at 28 degrees of Libra. Okay, 26 and 28. So that's the dark moon. Just before the moon hits the sun and we get what's called the new moon, that's the dark moon. So what I was saying was, whichever house it's in, let all that SHIT go, because you're about to get a new moon in that part of your chart 9 times out of 10, and you're going to get all this new energy in there. Okay, so there we go. All right. Let me just see. Any questions? Everyone okay? You guys are all like coping so well. Angela, I'm learning Hellenistic astrology with Adam Ellenbass. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I was drawn to all that, but I'm such a scaredy cat that I like modern astrology. I like bringing in angels and goddesses and chakras, all that other stuff. It's like a plague shall descend upon you, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. Anyway, that's just me. But I am really serious about astrology, so I'm drawn to it from that perspective. But at the same time, Again, I won't digress too much because I know I blather on a bit sometimes, but really, really quick story. And I thought an amazing story. Once upon a time, I did a past life regression before I was really into astrology. And I believe from that past life regression that I was an Arabic astrologer back in the, in the 5th century AD or whatever it's called these days, in about the 5th century. And so they had Arabic astrology was like growing at that time, but it was very negative. So if you look at a lot of the fixed stars with the Arabic names, it is things like, if you've got your sun on this particular fixed star, you will die in a plague of rats running over your body and gnawing you to death, or, you'll get your head chopped off by a mast at sea and all this really, really scary stuff. And that's just not me. And I'm like, I don't want to go there, not to put off anyone who is studying ancient astrology, because somebody has to, and, do the hard work of facing up to all those stories. But I believe, and then what about my name, Yasmin? It's really Arabic, okay? And I'm not at all Arabic. I was born a Catholic, and I'm now very sort of spiritual. And in this past life regression, I saw myself as this ancient Arabic astrologer. And I realized when I came to study astrology, I think one of the reasons why I'm sort of really trying to help people make the most of astrology and feel good about astrology and learn how to make their lives better with astrology, as opposed to freaking them all out, is because I'm trying to make amends for all the all the mess I made as an Arabic astrologer, which, by the way, is different from Hellenistic and indeed Hermetic astrology. But yeah, so that's my little story. Okay, well, I'm getting a few laughs, so thank you. I'm glad I told you that story. All right. Okay, let us keep going. Let's keep going. I'm just seeing if there's any. Shirley loved to do a past life regression. Tracy did ancient astrology with Kelly. Yeah, Kelly's great. Oh, Sylvia does past life. There you go. Somebody said they want to do a past life regression. Well, Sylvia Gianelli is a past life regression therapist. Ask and you shall receive. All right. Susie B is buying 2 of the new Dark Moon Oracle cards. Oh, thank you. That's exciting. All right. So now what we are going to do is, oh, hang on. What's happened here? Oh, I've kind of given it away. We're doing our winner, Hannah G. Stringer. Where are you, Hannah G. Stringer? You are the winner. Sorry, that was a bit anticlimactic. Let me do it again. So, I'm going to give away a copy of my Moonology Calendar 2026, which I just happen to have a copy of here. Sorry, while I just grab it. Look at this beautiful thing. This is my Moonology Calendar 2026.
Very excited.
Thank you. It's rather lovely, isn't it? And so I decided I'd give away a copy of the diary and the calendar. So, yes, the calendar is going to, drum roll please, G. Hannah Stringer. Are you there, Hannah?
I'm here.
Yay! Well, congratulations. You have won a copy of that. Please write to support@yasminboland.com and give us your address so we can pop it in the post.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we have another little bit of information. So just everyone now move on from the full moon and the dark moon. I wanted to talk to you about something else that I know people love and have questions about, okay? And it's about how to do rituals based in astrology, okay? And this is something I go into more in the Moonology Certification course, which I will tell you about later. But I wanted to give you some very simple rituals that you can do every month. Even if you don't do the certification, you'll have this very basic info. And so the idea is either you can decide to do them at new moon, or you can decide to do them at full moon. You can even do them at the quarter moon, which is halfway between the new moon and the full moon. You can do them at the dark moon. But the idea is to work out which element is represented by the new moon or the full moon or the quarter moon or the daily moon. I mean, if you want to do a month of ceremonies, you could do one every day or every second day, depending on what sign the moon is in. As it goes, it spends its month going around the chart. So just some really simple ideas for rituals by the elements. So let's actually start with fire, because that will be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And so write what you want to release, carefully burn the paper with a candle, visualize the burden leaving and call in clarity and courage. So I wrote that because I love to use fire at the full moon. Now, it's not so much of a new moon ritual. If you wanted to do a new moon ritual, one thing you could do would be to put all your intentions down on a piece of paper, and then you could either put that and then put a tea light on top of it, or you could burn it. It's actually really good to burn your intentions, because in a nutshell, you don't want to be too attached to what it is that you're wishing for. And so burning it means you kind of can't, you've got no proof that you ever did it. You can't necessarily remember everything you wrote down. And then you're kind of opening up yourself to the magic. And in a way as well, just to go back to the full moon, that's one of the reasons I think why the full moon is the secret source of success, is because when you let it all go, you are detaching, you are releasing attachment to it. But yeah, so it can be a really good one, fire ritual for the full moon. I always do fire at the full moon, something I learned in India. Write down what you want to release, carefully burn the paper with a candle, maybe in the sink if you don't have outdoor space. Visualize the burden leaving and call in clarity and courage. Or you can even do that at the dark moon, actually, just before the new moon. Burn whatever needs to go and then call in clarity and courage ahead of the new moon. Next up, I wanted to talk about the Earth ritual. So that's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, okay? And again, this one's a bit more new moony. So collect a grounding stone. Now, a grounding stone is just any stone that you find on the ground, okay? Hold it and breathe deeply, imagining roots coming through your feet to the earth. So you're really connecting with the earth. And then speak an affirmation of stability into it. And also, by the way, if you don't want to use a stone, you can use a crystal, okay? I always speak affirmations into my crystals. It's just what I do. So hold the crystal, okay? Imagine the roots coming out of your feet into the ground. I'm going to do it now. And then actually what I always do is I say, I clear this crystal of any past programming or negativity, and I now charge it with, and then I whisper, I'm going to whisper, I'm not going to say what it is. And then it's in there. And then what you can do, especially if you do that at new moon, you can put that on your altar if you've got one. If you want to do your new moon wishes, you can put it on your new moon wishes. So that would be if there's a new moon in one of the earth signs. I hope that makes sense. And then after that, we have the air signs. So we have a very simple ritual if it's a new moon or a full moon, but really this is a new moon one. But I just want to give you ideas for, obviously you can work with this and expand it in your own time and your own way. But new moon air ritual, so that would be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, because people think Aquarius is the water bearer, they think it's a water sign, it's an air sign. So face the wind, if there is wind, speak your intention into the air, and then blow 3 times to send your words upwards. Imagine your wish carried to the universe. So let's just say you would like to attract at the time of the new moon, and you want to just attract, say, a new job, because we're talking about jobs. So I love my new job. I love my new job. I love my new job. And blow it into the air. And actually, you can also do it the other way around. There is a tradition, I think it was more of an Aleister Crowley thing, and he was a bit of a dark character, but he did it the other way around as well. He would say it 3 times and suck it into your body. So I'll just do that. I love my new job. I love my new job. I love my new job. So you like bring it into your body. But in both ways, air is very much about thoughts and words, and it's about, expressing yourself and sending the words out or sucking them back into you and sort of keeping them inside of you. Don't know what you think of that, but these are just some really basic ideas. Once you start to work with Moonology and astrology, you will come up with your own things, but the idea is focus on the elements. So rather than having to have an Aries ritual and a Taurus ritual and a Gemini ritual, which you can once you get a bit further down the track, you can just do the elements. And so finally we get to the water ritual. And this is a really simple one, and there's other ones like this as well, but fill a bowl with water, whisper your intention 3 times, and then just anoint yourself with the water and pour the rest on the earth to release your wishes into the ground where they can grow. Another one that people do for water is just get a glass of water and speak your intentions into the glass of water. You see this on Instagram all the time, but it's really about intention. You don't want too big a glass of water because then you have to drink it all down. So you're sort of bringing your wishes into your body. So let me just see. I'm going to look at the chat. Do any of you do rituals? What do you think about rituals? Okay, so Jess says, I had a Reiki teacher, presumably, who would have me write what I wanted to release on a bay leaf and then burn it in the candle. Yep, exactly. Perfect. Someone says, will these be available as PDFs? These are not actually PDFs. I could add a last minute PDF, couldn't I? Why don't I? Sahi, can you make a note, please, for us to add a last minute PDF about rituals? Yeah, no, bay leaves, I think, is it a bay leaf? Yeah, bay leaves work well because they're very dry. They're sort of like they're crushable and crumbly. Yeah, cord cutting, speak affirmations. And yes, I love that one, Lisa. Now, what would that be? Is coffee going to be water, or is that just any old day of the week? It doesn't matter. It's like, you know. There we go. I just spoke some words into my decaf. Sebastian says tree hugging is an earth ritual. Yes, I love it. Okay, ciao for now, Bela. See you in the members. Okay. Amazing. Love these rituals. When we do the water one best. So the water one, Claudia, my sister, is when it's a new moon or a full moon or a quarter moon or a daily moon in a water sign. So, didn't I say? Sorry. So that is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Shan says, I do all these rituals. Loads of you do them. Shelley, I bring in the guardians. Okay, Miranda, loving them. Okay, brilliant. Okay. All right. There we go. Yes, Dr. Emoto. If you don't know Dr. Emoto, look him up. He's amazing. Amazing. And then journal, says Tracy. Yeah, very good. Well, actually, someone, now who's just said that? Susie said, do we go by our rising sign? So what I wanted to show you on the next slide is the chart of Fiona Kay, born 5th of November in Liverpool, England. Now, what I wanted to show you here was how to use rituals in your chart. So, Fiona, in your case, you are, hang on, let me just get my little pen. Oh, I see. That's what happens. Hang on, let me just get the pointer. That might work better. It doesn't get so messy. So Fiona is moon child or Cancer rising, sun in Scorpio, conjunct Neptune, just by the way, so very spiritual, with moon at 2 degrees of Aries in her 10th house, which is interesting. And so now let's look at this one. Say you want a new job, Fiona. I'm assuming you want to either do a bit of moonology for work or earn some extra money or whatever. The main people I have in mind for this event were people who hate their job and want to do something more spiritually aligned, people who love their job but just want to earn some more money, and people who are already healers and want to add a string to their bow. Now, I don't know if you fall into one of those, Fiona, but you have Aries on your 10th house, as you probably found out because we did the cosmic blueprint. And so if you wanted to do a ritual for your career, then you would want to do a fire ritual, okay? So we talked about the fire ritual. So either you can do release stuff and burn it, or you can write down your intentions and burn them. It doesn't really matter. But the idea, and do you have to do that when the moon is in Aries? No, because your 10th house will always be in Aries. So you can look at the angel who rules Aries, which I mentioned is Ariel. If you want to work with goddesses, I mentioned the Aries goddess is Athena. There are chants for the different signs, and you can do the ritual. So the idea would be, okay, now I can create my own ritual, which would be, putting them all together and then journaling about it or tapping about it or doing an oracle card about it. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense and it's giving you ideas. Let's just say she wanted to change her career, then that would be Aries. Say if she wanted to do some efforts to do with money, then it would be Leo or Aquarius, so fire or air. And then if she wanted to do something about her daily life, it would be Sagittarius, so fire. So the idea is bring it all together. You know, like what I do is I pull out my yoga mat. I actually do more of this on my yoga mat than I actually do yoga. Pull out the yoga mat, put on Spotify some really uplifting music, light a candle, you know, look at where the moon is, pull a card, write something down, burn it, and meditate, you know, that kind of thing. You can create your own rituals really, really easily. So I hope that makes sense. That sort of ends the rituals part of our discussion. I hope I've given you, let me just see in the chat, just to reassure me, did that, okay, Erin, I just joined, wondering if I can did it make sense? I just joined, just wondering if I can burn new moon wishes. Yes, you absolutely can. Kimberly wants to go forest bathing. That sounds amazing. What is that rectangle chart? Rectangle? What do you mean? This bit? This is actually, sorry, this is showing all the aspects. So that's the connections that they all have. Sahib and I were talking about the fact that you guys all love astrology. We're going to have to do an astrology thing later after we've done Moonology. Just go one step at a time. Moonology, you just have to worry about the sun and the moon, and then we can bring in Mercury and Venus and Mars and all the other planets. Okay. Carrie, I move. Yes, I'm going to have to move more. What happens if the 10th house is empty? Suki, were you at lesson 1? 50 million people ask that. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good, good, good. Can you do all the elements ritual at the new moon, Kiona? Well, there is an argument. Some people say you should have all the elements represented on your altar. Okay, so my lovely friends Robin and Michael Mastro, who work with Indian Jyotish astrology and Vastu, which is like Indian feng shui, they say put everything on your altar. You should have something representing water, something representing fire, air. What am I missing? Water, air, fire, earth, and ether. So, you know, you can have a crystal for earth, you can have a candle for fire, you can have a little vessel with water in it for water, you can have a pen because it's ideas, and air is about ideas, or a feather, and that's what they do. That is what they do. Kim Murphy would love an astrology thing. I'm sure it can be arranged. All right. I feel like you guys have understood. So rituals are always birth chart houses and not where the moon is. No. Rituals are whatever you want them to be, Anna. Whatever you want them to be. It just, whether it's like, okay, you know what? I need to do a ritual today because I'm really worried about this thing. Where's the moon? Oh, okay, it's in Leo. Let me do a little fire ritual. Or, oh, it's in Libra. Let me do a little air ritual. Or, oh, I mean, I know we hear about work, but just say your love life sucks this week and you go, oh, well, Mars rules my love life. That's a fire. Aries rules my love life. That's a fire sign. Let me do a fire ritual. Or, you know, Scorpio rules my 7th house, which is the love zone. Scorpio rules my 7th house. My love life sucks. I need to call in the Scorpio angel. I need to call in the Scorpio goddess. I need to burn the Scorpio oil. I need to do the chant. I need to do the ritual. Just do it all. Do it all. All right. Okie dokie. Exactly. As long as you believe in what you're doing, says Kiona. Exactly. Exactly. Beautiful. Oh, Erin, I love that. Good. Okie dokie. So now we have another prize, the third and final prize of the proceedings tonight. And I honestly think, as much as I love my Moonology calendar and diary, which I'll just hold up again for you. I think this is also a really cool prize. It's actually not a thing. I am going to record for you, if you are, even if you're not here, but if you are here, make yourself known. Rachel Noonan, I'm actually going to record for you a personalised meditation based on your birth chart. And it's something I started to do this summer. My son Louis had a friend staying with us who was going through a really rough time. And I knew he needed I knew he needed his chart looked at and some help. So I looked at his chart, I worked out where Saturn was, I understood why he was having this rough time, and I recorded a little meditation for him. So I'm now going to do that for you, Miss Rachel Noonan. I hope you're happy with that. All right, okay. So next question is, but how do I make money doing all of this? How do I make money doing all of this? Well, maybe you're not even asking that question. Maybe you can already see that if you start to get all this stuff together and you start to understand the new moon and the full moon and the quarter moons and the Jupiter cycles and the Saturn cycles and the rituals and the elements and the angels and the goddesses, you've got so much stuff that you can sell. You know, people will pay you good money to create for them an amazing ritual. I mean, one idea I'm just thinking right now, you know, like the personalized meditation, I could probably sell those, you know, based on where the new moon is going to be or where the eclipses are going to be this year. Or you might say, I'm going to do a Moonology birthday ritual for you, and you make them a pack and you get them the right essential oil. All the oils are something else which I'll tell you about after, but they are something I do go through. You know, I'll record a chart for you. I will show you which of the angels and goddesses to work with. So this stuff is really stuff that you can, like I did mention this, I think, in module 1, but I help a lot of people and I make a lot of money, because if you're helping people, why shouldn't you be making money from it? You know, like one of the things that we tend to do when we're on the spiritual path is we just want to do everything for free. And in fact, when I first started to learn about working with chakras, I did a big thing. I went to Switzerland. I did an amazing course. I did a whole thing on chakras. And I wanted to start helping people to work with their chakras. And I just couldn't charge, like, because I thought, oh, it's not spiritual to charge. And I didn't have anyone asking me. And as soon as I started to say, okay, it's $20 or it's $40 or it's $60 or whatever I charge, I genuinely don't remember, then people started coming because I was putting a value on myself. I'm also going to tell you as well, you know, if you don't charge for what you do, then you won't have time to do it. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing a really, you know, running around the place doing a very difficult job, for example, and this is like something you give away for free, you're never going to have time to do it because you're going to be too busy getting out there earning a crust most of the time, at least anyway, or you'll be able to do it less, you know. So let's look at this list here. How do I make money doing it? So leap before you look. So that means throw yourself into this before you overthink it. Okay? Just start to do it. Don't just second guess yourself before you even get started. Start to work with the daily, new and full moon. Do pay attention to Jupiter and Saturn. So know where your Jupiter and Saturn are so you know where you're lucky and where you have lessons. Call in the archangels. Call in the goddesses. Get trained up. I'm about to give you a way to do that. Don't quit your day job until you know you have at least, say, 10 clients. Okay? Start small, build momentum, use the waxing and the waning cycle, get on social media so you can talk about what you're doing. I'm going to give you something for that as well. Launch yourself into the world, okay? Launch yourself into the world. Now, I know that we have covered a lot of ground in the 3 modules, okay? We've done the new moon and the full moon and Jupiter and Saturn and goodness knows what else. you actually have really nearly everything you need to get started. This is the start of a journey. I've given you enough to put your little thing over your rucksack over your shoulder and now start to go down that street if that is where you would like to go. I do believe I've given you enough to move from stuck, knowing you want to do this, to starting, okay? But as I like to say, whenever I do a live workshop, if you want to change your life, you have to change your life, okay? You have to do it. It's not enough just to know it. You have to do it. So on that note, I have told you I wanted to tell you about my Moonology Certification program where you can actually become a certified Moonologer. So I know some of you are going to want to leave it here, and that's absolutely fine. You have more than enough to get started with, okay? And I hope you've loved it. But for the rest of you, may I make you an offer? And I will wait until I get some thumbs up before I proceed to the next slide. Okay, thank you, Robin. First thumbs up and then lots and lots of you. Okay, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right, so this is where I'm going to tell you about my Moonology Certification program. Okay, so what if I told you there is a way to generate income quite quickly, help other people transform their lives, and on top of everything else, it's tax deductible. I never actually realized it was tax deductible until I interviewed a wonderful woman who I'm going to play you a video from her, if it works. It's only about 2 minutes long, but her name's Barbara Wallach, and she calls herself the Soul, I think it's Soul Prosperity is her work. And she used to be a financial planner. You'll hear from her in a minute. I'm going to show you her thing. But she used to be a financial planner. She got jack of that, and then she ended up working with Moonology and money for people. And she's pointed out to me, Yasmin, it's tax deductible, because if you're going to use it to earn money, and it's a certification program, therefore you can use it to earn money, you'll be certified. Yeah, you can claim it on tax. So how about that? You also will be able to step into a role where you can literally change people's lives, okay? It won't happen overnight. You will need to watch the course. It's 11 hours long, okay? It's like, it sounds like a lot, but if you do it, in fact, some people say do it all at once. Do like 5 hours one weekend and 5 hours the next, or 6 hours the next, or whatever, or 5, 3 on a Saturday, 3 on a Sunday, 2 on a Wednesday, and however many left on the following Saturday. A lot of people say do it at once, but it's not like months and months and months of learning. It's, it's 10 lessons that you can get through, and you will be able to start using it very quickly and make your money back very quickly. And also you'll be able to help other people transform their life, which I think is the most important thing of all, although of course it's lovely to make money from it. So this is it, the Moonology Certification. And you can see this little R we have here. Because we were advised by Hay House very early on in the piece to register it as a trademark, because it's a word that I basically made up. And so the only way that you can call yourself a Moonologer is to do the Moonology Certification course, and that's what I'm inviting you to do today. So this is a kind of a little look at it, what you get. You get all these PDFs. You get so many PDFs. You get an online community. I'm going to drill down into more of the details, but that's just kind of like a little visual representation. There's me on the floor with my altar, doing a lot of talking about ceremonies and rituals and everything like that. But you're actually going to get not just ceremonies and rituals of what I've been talking about. It's more like you get all the basics as well. So things like, the new moon through all the signs, all the details you need to know. The new moon through all the houses, things that you need to know. Sacred ceremonies and tools, business applications. If you've looked in the portal, there are a couple of very kind people, including Jen Khan, Charlie Astro, I think was her name, and Danielle, are 3 past graduates who I spoke to. They're in the portal giving their testimonial about how they use it, why they love it, and so on. And one of the girls said, look, I just love all the information about the new moon through all the signs and the new moon through all the houses, But, and as good as that was, what was even better was how to use this in business. Okay, you will get training in running Moonology workshops. You know, I actually remember when I was doing this course, I thought, what am I doing? I'm telling everyone all my secrets, but it's fine because I just want the people to spread the word. So it's like, how to run a Moonology workshop, how to do Moonology readings, how to do intention setting workshops. I just wanted to show you. So here's a still from one of the sessions. How to give a Moonology reading worksheet, step-by-step Moonology reading, how to hold Moonology workshops, a full-day Moonology workshop plan. Like I can't give you more than that. I'm literally giving you the farm. Okay, if you could just spare, Sahib and I weren't sure we should play a video or 2 or 3. I just loved speaking to these people, and I thought, you know what? I hope you'll bear with us. It's about 2 minutes long, and it's so nice to hear from someone. Let me see if I can manage to play it. Let's see. How do I get to it? If I can. Oh, yeah, I think I can get to it here. You should be able to hear it here. Here we go. Let me know that.
My current course has already sort of started with the My current course has already sort of started with the Moonology Certification. My background is finance. I've been a certified financial planner I've worked in the financial industry for 40 years, managing money, helping clients, families, et cetera, but I got really burnt out. So in 2021, I had just moved to a different city. I have this internal need for knowledge. And Moonology came across my feed through probably Hay House, I'm thinking back then. And I just went, bing, I've got to do this program. I'd been listening to yourself, Yasmin, for a while. I'd started working with the full moon and with financial planning. I was so tired of the old masculine way of creating goals, setting financial goals with no emotion or feeling behind it. And so people would stray from their path. Well, Moonology offered me the structure and the system in which to add a more feminine touch to how I work with my clients.
That is such a brilliant use of Moonology.
Yeah. So, I can't stop doing the money thing because I've been doing it so long and it's such an important factor in everybody's lives. But we need to look at it differently. Our relationship has to be shifted so that we can be more friendly with that part of our lives so we can live in full prosperity and full abundance and grow wealth. And just doing it with the Moonology certification taught me that there is a different way of aligning with nature's cycles and understanding my emotional phase around why I feel the way I feel around life in general, but money as well.
Amazing. So there we go. Thank you, Barbara, for very kindly giving us a little insight. Okay, I'm just going to keep going and just give you a few more glimpses into the course. So here are just some screen grabs to show you. I know a lot of you have said you really enjoyed the way we we've done the masterclass with all these sort of bite-sized lessons, and that's actually how we do the course as well. So you can just do little chunky, bite-sized, snackable, bingeable, Netflix-style lessons. These are just 3 modules I randomly grabbed. Magic of the Moon, using the moon as a cosmic timer, going deep on the waxing and waning cycle, the 8 phases, new moon, waxing moon, first quarter moon, gibbous moon, full moon. So you get to know everything. The second half of Barbara's interview was actually about how she felt she had a lot more confidence once she'd done the course, working with Moonology and oracle cards and yoga, Moonology and the divine feminine. So give me a thumbs up if this appeals to you. I'm curious to see, is this the kind of thing that appeals to you? Yes. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, it's the kind of thing I absolutely love. I wanted to show you as well just this still from the course. where I show you how to do a full moon ceremony. We went out. I filmed this with Hay House back in the day. It was actually during COVID we filmed it, and I was the only one who was allowed not to wear a mask. It was funny, all the camera crew were wearing masks, and so we do all sorts of stuff. So you'll learn how to do a full moon ceremony, and then you can go on Facebook and do your own full moon ceremonies, or lead them in your own home or whatever. But wait, there's more, because as well as the course with the 11 hours of learning and 10 lessons, which will basically take you from knowing very little to being able to call yourself a moonologer, you'll get a certificate, you'll be able to use the registered trademark, and you'll be able to charge for your readings. You'll pay off the course in, just a few readings. I've also, this time around, for the first time, created some amazing bonuses, which I think are the best bonuses we've ever had. This is the third or fourth time we've launched the course. But what I've realized is that people need help getting the business running. And one day I might even do a membership for people who are Moonology certified who want to get support with their business. But what we've done is we've created really practical bonuses for you to use as you set things up. So we've given you, first of all, the checklist, just so you can keep an eye on where you are and sort of advice on how to go through the course. I've got a training for you about how to create your own moon meditations, okay? So, because what people love, like I know when you guys saw I'm doing that personalized meditation, a lot of people gave that a love heart or whatever, and that's because people love meditation. So I'm going to teach you in this training how to create your own meditations in a way that are really going to touch people, because meditation is such a deeply marvelous thing to do. And I've been creating my own meditations for years now. And I really thought that is something useful I can share to you. You can sell your meditations. You can offer them to clients. If you run a membership area, you can do monthly meditations for your members like I do. So many ways to use them. So I'm going to give you that training for free. That's a bonus. We're also going to have 2 live integration Q&A sessions on Zoom. So they're going to be, I think, 1 month and 6 weeks from when we close this offer, which I think we close it in about a week. And so about a month later, when hopefully you've had a chance to start the course, if you've got questions, you can come along, we'll do a Zoom and you can ask me any questions that you have, and we'll do another one of those another 2 weeks later. Now, this, in some ways, I think is the best thing. We're going to do a social media starter kit. So what that is we're going to make you image tiles. We haven't actually finished them all, but you will get them at the time. By the time the offer closes, everybody will have their social media starter kit. And it will be, what have we said there? 30 caption prompts, 12 carousel templates, 10 reels outlines, plus a content calendar synced to the lunar cycle. Basically, what we're going to give you is a whole stack of images that you can use on social media, so that when you feel confident enough to start going out in the world looking for clients, you will have social media assets for you to use on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or wherever you choose to use them. And I will also I'd probably record something for you as well, just to kind of give you a few. This is something I love to do. I love sharing Moonology. So I'll probably add a little video or something there just to give you a few more tips. And then we're also going to give you a 1-year eclipse planner. Now, we've had all the eclipses for this year, so there'll be the eclipses for next year. For the simple reason that when you start to work with the moon, imagine you have clients. When do you think they're most interested in? They're most interested when the new moon is in their sign or when it's eclipse season. Everybody is really, all my website stats spike wildly at the time of eclipses. So we're going to give you an eclipse planner and give you some what they call in America, some language, they call it on TV, give you some language around the eclipses, so you will have an idea of what the eclipses are all about. So that, and by then, once you've done the course, you'll understand better what it's all about anyway. And so it will be something for you to be able to use on whichever platform you decide to use. You can do reels, you can do stories, you can do posts, just to get your word out there. And finally, for people who act straight away, we are going to give another 2 really good bonuses. The 10-point checklist, it's like the next level up from the one that everyone gets. If you order before October the 1st, you'll actually get this checklist, which is going to have more of an explanation to it about exactly how to get yourself through the course and what each module is really all about. So it's like us holding your hand. And bonus number 2, and I think this vies with the social media images for being best bonus. I'm going to give you information about creating what we call a lead magnet, which is a way, basically what you do when you're sort of selling things like this online, when you're trying to build up your client base. If you're already a healer, all this will be really useful to get more clients. But if you're starting from scratch, you don't have a list, you don't have any clients, you've got nothing, this will help you build your list so you start to have people on your newsletter list. I'm going to help you with ideas for how to come up with something that's going to, what they say is your vibe attracts your tribe, okay? So it's not about being salesy, it's about being of service. How can I help these people? So what you want to do is you give something away for free that will show people the kind of person you are. And then they're going to go, okay, this is what that person offers. Wow, I love it. I think I would like to get to know them a bit better. And so they sign up to your list, and then we're going to give you what they call in marketing speak, swipe copy. Swipe as in SWIPE. So it's like copy and paste. These are all ready to go actually, because they have to go out first as soon as people who buy early will get these. That you can basically copy and paste and fill them in with your details so that when people sign up to your list, it's called an indoctrination sequence. Basically, it's about helping people understand you, who you are, what they've signed up for, and what they can expect, because then you start to forge something of a connection, because otherwise people sign up for the free thing and then they forget who you are and stuff like that. So that's probably, I think that and the social media tiles are the 2 best bonuses in my humble opinion. So I'm sure you're wondering, give me a thumbs up if you are wondering how much this costs. Give me a thumbs up if you are wondering how much this costs. Okay, I'm actually just going to see if I can quickly do something here. I'm just going, oops, nope. Hang on. I'm just going to try something a bit too clever for my own good. Poor Sahib's probably having kittens while I do this. Okay, 1 second. Give me 1 second. See, this is what we call doing things on the fly. Talk about doing things on the fly. Sorry. 1 second. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be funny. Not funny, but it's going to be cute. I've literally just done something. Here we go. I don't know if that's going to work. Let's see if it will. Let's see if that's going to work. It may or may not work. Anyway, okay, so are you ready to see how much this costs? You've given me the thumbs up. All right, so let's just recap what you're going to get. You will get the Moonology Calling Masterclass. So I'm actually, for anyone who buys the certification, you will get all these videos, the 3 masterclasses, and the 2 Q&As that we've done, which we are going to sell for $99 once we get going. Okay, so you will get a copy of all the masterclasses, which I hope you'll agree they're worth it. A lot of you have said you've loved them. You will get the Moonology Certification program, which usually is on sale, online. You can look it up for $399 American dollars. You will get the right to call yourself a Moonologer, which I think is priceless, frankly. You'll also get the Moonology Certification Progress Checklist. You'll get the Create Your Own Moon Meditations training with 3 ready-to-use scripts. You'll get 2 live meetups, the social media Moonology Starter Kit, which is brilliant, the 1-year eclipse planner for 2026, so that you can actually work with all the eclipses. And if you act fast, you'll also get the elevated work list, which is going to really help you get through the course, and the lead magnet and indoctrination sequence to help you build your list. So having put a price on all that, it's worth about $1,192. But am I going to charge you that? No, I am not. Am I going to charge you $500? No, I am not. I am going to charge you, so instead of $399, which is what you'd usually pay to get this on Hay House without any of the bonuses, instead of $399, you're going to get it for half price, 50% off, and you're going to get it for just $199. So there we go, $199. So now the question is, how do you get it? Well, we have a way. We are going to give you the URL right now. And Sahib, have we even checked that the URL is working nicely? Let's have a look. We are about to find out. Yes, it is. So in order to get this amazing deal, all you need to do is go to moonologycertification.com. That is moonologycertification.com. Okay, and I'm actually going to do a little quick slide for you here. New slide, because can you believe I didn't write it in? Insert. There we go. www.moonologycertification.com. Let's just make that nice and bold. Let me see. I hope you can see it. Hang on a minute. I'm going to put a picture on there. Sometimes you just got to do things on the fly, kids. It's part of it. Here we go. moonologycertification.com. Let me see if I can at least show the URL for you. Moonology Certification. Let's leave it nice and simple. moonologycertification.com. Can't say better than that. It's a really, really good deal. And let me put it on here as well. Jonty's excited now. Can you hear me tapping away? Hang on. Here we go. There we go. Save. So let me know in the comments what you think. Does this sound like something you might like to do? Let me know in the comments. There we go. There we go. Is this something you would like to do? Does it sound like something that might be interesting to you? And do you have any questions? Okay. Tracy says you have to have a business to expense it. I don't think you do, actually. I think you can claim anything that you spend for work on your taxes. But correct me if I'm wrong. I may not. I don't think you do have to. I know that I used to claim things for work before I had a business when I was just a sole trader. Jane says, thank you. Great information presented well. Thank you. Luann says, I've completed both courses and they were awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Luann. Actually, I remember your name. Christy, I'm certified as well. It's brilliant. Oh, thank you so much. Carla, lol, it is tax deductible. There we are. Professional development. Exactly. And she's a certified bookkeeper. Yes, no, it definitely is tax deductible. There's no question. Professional development, that's what it's under. Yes, you're quite right. Kiona, good. You're going to start it. You will get all the new bonuses. Okay. Michelle, great. You'll get the bonuses. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yes, you can do it on your own pace, Jackie Driscoll. You can do it as whenever you like. Jackie. Pat, if you've already got the Moonology Certification course, then you've got it. You don't need to buy it again. Don't you? Oh, no, don't you? Come here, don't you? Come. Don't you? Come. Just come. At the end of these sessions, Donkey always wants to come up here. All right, so Yana says, can we have the bonuses if we bought the course? Yes, of course, we will send them all to you. Okay, let's have a look. All right, interesting. Gosh, so many comments coming in. Let's have a look. Excellent. Christy's going to get started with her moon planners. Brilliant. And will those of us who've already done the course be able to do the lives? Absolutely, yes. Yes. Shirley says, I'm sold. What's the cost and how do I sign up? Go to moonologycertification.com. Yes, it is the last time. This is the same price we charged 5 years ago. It's the last time it's going to be available for $199. Okay, Kim says great bonuses. Thank you. Carolyn, yes, you'll get them. Melanie, yes, there is something to create your client's birth charts. Very, very, very good question. Kim, I'm excited about becoming a moonologist. Great. Yes, it is US dollars, Claudia B. It's a really great deal. Shirley says sold. Kim says, yes, I'm in. Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you. Excellent. Daphne, I'm going to do it. Miranda, we will send you all the bonuses. Don't worry. Melanie Russell, no timeline. Buy it and do it whenever. But if you can do it straight away, so much the better, because then you'll be able to do the 1 month later and the 6 week later meetup. Tracy's signing up. Yay. Kim's signing up. Yay. Dawn is intrigued. All right. Amazing. Christine, is it not a secure website? Yes, no, it is a secure website. It is. It should be. It is. Sahib's given us the address again. Okay. So there we are, guys. We have completed the Moonology Calling Masterclass. How did you go? Lisa says, when does it expire? It expires, I think it expires in about a week from now. Jonty loves the offer. Yes, Jonty's very happy with the offer. Amazing. So guys, whether you decide to go on for the certification or not, use what you've learned now and start small. And then if you go up to doing the certification, so much the better. I figure that you can charge at least $50 a pop when you first start to give readings. And, that means you'll pay the course off in 4 readings. 4 readings, you'll have paid the course off. Like, that is pretty good. Shirley's got a confirmation. That's brilliant. Okay, amazing. All right, guys. I'm so pleased you enjoyed it. Okay. Everyone keeps asking, how long do we have to access the course? Forever. It's yours forever. Lifetime access. Amazing. So if you do want to do the certification, moonologycertification.com. Get started and let's fill the world with certified moonologists. All right. Okay, guys. Joe says, I'd love to do it, but I'm worried the astrology would be better. So for one thing, the astrology is not a certification. And for another, this is a much easier place to start. And I won't be doing an offer. I might be able to. I don't know. The thing is, I've got control of this course. Hay House own the astrology course. Oh, Ayana, thank you. The cutoff for the fast action bonuses is October 1 at midnight. Offer available for about a week. Okay. All right, guys. Well, on that note, can we just take a moment to thank Sahib, as always, because without him, none of this would happen. Sandy says, what kind of reading can you give? Well, you can give people moonology readings, so you can help them work out where all the new moons are and the full moons are and help them work out what they basically how to create their life, plan their life, and predict their life. I always say create, plan, and predict with the new moon. The software, I will give you access to a brilliant website where you can do it all for free. Oh, you're so welcome, Joe. All right. Lots and lots and lots of love. You are so welcome, Susan Ritter. You're welcome, Jackie. Thank you so much, guys. If you've got any last questions. Oh, I know. I'm going to finish with a little story. So I don't know if this made it into the final cut of the course. I have a funny feeling I wanted to include it, and Hay House, I don't think they really understood what I was talking about, and they didn't. I don't know if it made it in, but I'll tell the story for anyone who's thinking about doing the course and wondering if they can do it. So basically what happened was that I was showing people there's a section in the course, it may be in there, where I show about how to use Moonology and Oracle cards. And I had my Moonology Oracle cards, my first, which I've got here on the desk somewhere, you know them, the ones that they've got the dark blue cover. So I shuffled the cards and I said, okay, I'm going to pick a card for everybody who is doing this course for a message. And I shuffled the deck, and would you believe the card that came up was so beautiful? It was the You Are Good Enough card. It might have made it into the cut, I don't remember, but that was genuinely what happened. And I just thought that was such a beautiful affirmation. And for you, anyone who's thinking, should I do it? I'm not sure if I can. You are good enough. So, and I also want to mention, we worked with the angels yesterday. In the course, you'll get all the goddess information, all the chakra information, all the crystals information, all that. So I'll just finish by giving you the address, moonologycertification.com. Thank you so much for being here. Lots and lots and lots of love. Thank you again, Sahib. And I will see you soon.